Good morning, fishy folks. Happy Thursday. Today I thought I would show you a morning in the fish room during the week. It's about 6 a.m. I woke up a little bit late because I was pretty darn tired from working so much the last couple days. Slept great, actually. So here's the morning food. We got some frozen bloodworms and some frozen cyclops. So what do we go? Oh, I almost forgot. The good old instant baby brine. Let's take a walk downstairs, shall we? Messy basement, we're just warning you. Ooh, dark, scary. Oh, look, the light. Yeah, kids just go close downstairs. Think they'll magically walk themselves over to the washing machine. So you can see lights on behind the curtain. The lights have come on in the tanks about 5 a.m. Ta-da! Look, fish food wrappers on the floor. Fish food on the floor. Thank you, Nico. My German Shepherd apparently has eaten some fish food. Well, that curl was almost empty, so that's not too bad. Those algae wafers, though, they were almost full. And then that is that food, which I think is killifish food. It's really small, powdery. Anyway, that's first thing that happens when you walk down to the fish room, huh? Also, I like to take a peek back here. See, there's no leaks. Oh, looks like I left that light on last night. Or whenever I was here last. I like to check the sump. You know, just make sure. Check the temperature, running 76.8. Perfect. Alright, guys. So what's the first thing I normally do? That's right. Check on my babies. See some of them swimming around. Not as many as I wanted to see, but they're getting bigger. We got that boss over there. Now that we've checked on them, the food is frozen, right? So we have to defrost it. We just add some water. I always add fish tank water. Some people add tap water, some people just drop pieces in. Sure, if you had one tank or you bought them like this, you know, in cubes, you could just drop them in, but looks like there's some wrapper in there too. There actually isn't that much water in there, but that's okay. Oh, I have a bucket from the water change from yesterday. No swimming fish, so let's empty that out. When I do a water change, I always like to leave the water sit for usually a couple hours and then I check it, but hey, it's dark here. You probably can't see much. That's not good filming. Oh well. Alright. So now, this fish tank is kind of in the way. I gotta really drill it. I gotta drill it and put it somewhere, but I don't know where. I don't really have spot. Wow, I need some coffee. I don't really have a spot for it. It's too tall to go up there. These are the things I think about. This is literally, hey, let's just film a day in the fish room. Not really a day, because I'm gonna leave to go to work in about half an hour, but let's just film a morning in the fish room. So I see her. I don't see the second one in there. Let's take a look back here. Here, fishy, 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 fishy. There she is. Can you see? Right there? Okay, that's good. Alright. So no dead fish. That's like, what's today? Thursday. I think that's 3 days in a row, no dead fish. So that's good. Gotta check the community guppy tank. Oh, no dead fish here either. Lots of fry. No dead fish. That's good. Anyway, little OCD, not OCD. ADHD. The tank's in the way. Oh, there's a battery. Love these thermometers because they were cheap, but they were cheap. I laid out, I think I had 4 of them or 5. I laid them all out, and 3 of them were within a degree of each other, and the other one was like 4 degrees off. Oh well. All right, so now what? Well, now we got to do a water change in the fry tank. So I'll show you how I do that the old-fashioned way. Got some rigid airline tubing. Some airline tubing. Delicious. Create a little vacuum and boom, a siphon starts. And the reason why I drain all the water into a white bucket, as you know, so you can see if I suck up any fry. So we're gonna let this go for a while. And then we'll feed these guys. And we'll go from there. So this tank still hasn't been cleaned. I guess I'm lazy. I don't know. Alright, so let's talk about the fish room. Sit in my little creeper seat here. And let's look at these guys for a little bit. There don't seem to be as many fry out and about. Oh, there's a whole bunch. So, as you know, my fish tanks, there's about 25 on this rack that are actually connected. There's about 30 tanks in total, including these 2 tanks. You know, this tank was originally planned. I bought all that dwarf sage, and the idea was I bought that. I was going to let it grow runners and then sell that to the local fish store. Growing for profit, we'll call it. Selling plants to your local fish store. He always complains to me that half the time he gets plants in and they're in bad condition, or they die back, blah blah blah. We all know the story. Anyway, so I thought it was a great idea. I never got root tabs, so they never really took off. I had that algae problem in here. You can see actually there's a little bit more algae on the actually maybe cyanobacteria. I may treat again with erythromycin. Actually, I just kind of saw it. So, all right, let's talk about the fish room though. Let's talk about the tanks. So, about 25 tanks connected with a 50-gallon sump. Run off one smaller mag drive pump. Top row of tanks up there drain into the middle row of tanks, and then the middle row of tanks drain into the bottom row of tanks. The bottom row of tanks drain into the drain. You can see the drain back there. Well, it's great for maintenance. It was easy. It was cheap. The problem I'm running into, though, is, let's say this tank got sick. We had some worms. Uh-oh, I lied. There's a dead Endler. But that Endler doesn't, I don't know. We gotta look at it. Let's investigate. You know, when a guppy or Endler dies, it's like, did it die from giving birth? Did it die from old age? I'm gonna switch hands here. Try to get this one out without any of the hundreds of other fry. Come on. I can't tell if that's internal bleeding or what. I don't think we have any other fish in there. Let's double check. Nope. So, what was I saying? Internal bleeding or what? I don't know. What do you think? Does the fish look like it has worms? Alright, where were we? 25 tanks connected. If one tank gets sick, they all get sick. And that happened. that happened to me. We lost 21 fish now in about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And that's disappointing. I was really thinking I was on the other side of this thing. I mean, one guppy, I don't know. All right, let's get back on track, people. So, water drains into the drain, into the sump, gets filtered. Just a reminder, a refresher. Mechanical filtration, the polyfill. Some mechanical filtration with the K1 Kaldness media. That's the micro. And pothos plant. And 20 pounds of lava rock. Goes through all there, gets pumped through the pump, through the plumbing, to the tree as I like to call it, and all the branches. So then the water drains over the overflow. All my tanks are drilled down into the middle row, over, then out through that overflow, down into the bottom row, and then the bottom row into the sump. Sorry, into the drain, into the sump. So, I'm going to be switching to a drip system. And for those of you that don't know what a drip system is, basically water drips into a tank and overflows and gets drained out. Essentially the same way these tanks get filled, at least the top row. At least the top row. See, there's no water coming out of that one. Actually, there is water coming out, but that tank seems kind of low. So I'm gonna lower that drain a little bit. See that? We'll see if we can get a little bit more water in there. So the drip system, water drips in, overflows out. What you do is you drip water in for, say, 2 or 3 hours with a timer. The water overflows and new water comes in, and boom, you do a water change. So that's what I'm gonna do. Essentially, it's an auto water change system with an overflow. As a drip system, I mean, with an overflow. Wow, I'm confusing the hell out of myself. So what I need to figure out is how to get water over here that I'm not storing, because I really don't have space to store water, nor do I have a container to store it in. I did find, while looking on Craigslist in Maryland, about 2 hours away from me, a 270-gallon tote, you know, with the aluminum cage, only $50. And then figure another $30 in tolls and gas. So for less than $100, I could have it. The problem is I have nowhere to actually pick. I have nothing to pick it up in, and I have to borrow someone's truck or a friend. That's going to cost me a lunch. And then I don't think it'll fit down my stairs, so I can't do that. If that thing was close, I'd buy it anyway and just go fishing it outside in the summer. But that's not the case. So I have to figure out how to get water to my system. So here's my current situation. I wish I could turn the flash on so you could see, but and that light bulb actually is out. There's a light bulb up there, right there, but it's out. So I know what I'll do. Ta-da! So currently water comes from that Y into that pipe, and that pipe goes all the way to my sump, and that's how I fill it up. Put some Seachem Safe in the sump, add water. This is also how it drains. So when I want to drain the sump, and I'm not putting in barrels outside or watering the lawn, I change a couple of valve settings here, and the water comes from there, goes this way and up. Or if I want to go outside, it comes this way and out. So I have plumbing. I have to figure out how to get the water to here and how to drain the water. So what I think I'm going to do, because it's an auto water change system, I'm not going to have to manually do water changes other than gravel vacs, is simply use this existing pipe to feed the system. I think I'm going to run a second pipe. No, I lied. I think when you use that pipe, I'm going to go through a carbon block filter to get rid of the chloramines. Let's look at some angels. Going to go through some carbon block filter to get rid of the chloramine and chlorine in my water. And then use an irrigation timer and an electric solenoid to control the water. So let's say I do, you know, a 10% change in the middle of the night when everyone's sleeping. I wake up, you know, I come down here and there's been a 10% water change. The water will drain into a drain that will actually go outside or back into that sink over there. See, now that I'm thinking this through, this is actually live thinking. That's not going to work. I'm going to have to run a second. I'm going to run a second fill line. I'm going to run a fill line from over there. Ow! Let's check on the water change. Oh, we're about half. And we'll go a little more. And you can see there are a bunch of fry in there. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll just net those guys out. I don't know if I showed you those little filters. I think I did. Anyway, so I gotta run a fill line to here, drain out into that sump with a float switch. When that thing gets to a certain height, it'll pump the water back into out there. In the summertime, I'll flip the switches and drain it outside. Cool. So that's my plans. Don't know when. My original plan was Christmas break. I get the time between Christmas and New Year's off from work, so figured that should take about a day to complete, and then probably a week to tinker with. Not maybe a week, but a couple days to tinker with. That's a good looking ram right there. So I think that's the plan. All right, let's stop this. So I just take that out, let the water drain out of the vacuum line, hang it up right here. See that? Let it dry. How many have we got in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've actually never caught 5 doing it this way. Those guys look hungry. All right, let's feed some fishies. Yeah, it's not really defrosted yet. I don't have that much water in there. Alright, so these guys, look, this is all we do. This is how I feed. See, there's only 2 fish in there. It's hard to see. There you go. We'll see if the other one comes out. I have a feeling she's ready to drop her fry. She's been hiding now for a couple days. These guys, they're kind of like koi when you feed them. They all run to the food. Let's go down here. These guys. So I feed frozen bloodworms once, per day, and actually every other day frozen bloodworms, and on the off day I feed frozen brine shrimp to keep everyone clean and flowing properly, if you know what I mean. I kind of need 2 hands to feed. But let's see who else I can feed. I can feed these guys. So yeah, brine shrimp and frozen bloodworms, and then in the evening I feed what's on the floor, Northfin krill, or we have some freeze-dried bloodworms from Aquarium Co-op. We have the fry food, or small fish food from Aquarium Co-op. I've been looking for these. What else do we have in here? What's left? I think this is Hikari Micro pellets. Came in free samples. Sinking wafers. Ah, here we go. New Life Spectrum. small fish food, and you can see this has been crushed because Nico's tried to eat it. We have another unopened can there, some Sarah catfish chips. This turned out to be kind of garbage. Cobalt Fry Minis. It does have high protein and it is pretty small, but when I started looking at the ingredients, it's kind of crappy. And this somebody gave to me. I don't use it. Tetra floating beta things, whatever. Where was I? Feeding fishies. We got those guys. Angels. These guys. These guys I'm going to be selling to a friend as soon as I can guarantee their health. Do you have eggs? Did you? Come on, guys. Would you spawn already? Oh, that's a lot for these three guys, but they'll eat them. They'll get big. So we got this tank up here. Put a lot in there because there are a lot of little fishies. They'll nibble on those a couple hours. I don't see adults. We gotta check that out in a second. There's a pleco doing work. Swordtails that have really started to come out. When I first got them, they were super shy. Got that in there. Let's see if those guys. I wish there wasn't so much glare. This thing is hard to film too because it's at an angle, but you can see Mama eating. There's a fry in there trying to eat. Those guys are too small for bloodworms. These guppies. Oh, new fry. I see new fry. I see little tiny fry in here. So Mama must have dropped last night. It's weird because, you know, if I have sick fish and they're dropping fry though, and the fry seem healthy. Let's let these guys have a snack, a little bitty snack. See what happens. All right, these piggies. Look at them. Look at them. So, here's the problem. I got a couple pieces that aren't defrosted yet, but I don't really want to add too much more water. I have to add water actually, because then you just pour water. Just pour bloodworm water in. All right, we got these red wags growing up nice. Look at them all. Got some neon swordtails, juveniles. Look at that little guy. He grabbed one of those worms and is happy as you know what. Now look at his poop. Come on, focus. Focus. Can't see. There's poop coming out and it looks white. We're gonna chew with Fenbendozole food again. What's today? Wednesday? Thursday. Shoot. I'm not gonna have enough time to feed because Friday I'm going away. Camping, baby. And those guys. Yeah, these guys, hopefully he's big enough real soon to spawn, to get busy. Because I would like some of these babies. He's actually the first baby from Big Daddy. Big Daddy, rest in peace. Alright, we got everybody over here. Then we have these guys over here. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mike, this is the quarantine section. You're using water from your system, which you know is bad. You know had issues. Yes. But before I realized I was doing this, I had done it. So these guys get medicated. Every time they get medicated, these guys get medicated. So these guys are piggies too. Alright, so now we have... Oh, did I do this? And I do these guys. Boom. So guppies, you know, when you condition a fish by feeding them good food, a lot of good food, they spawn. So my guppy tanks always get a good amount of high quality food, especially when I want them to spawn, which is all the time. Look, these guys ate all their bloodworms. We'll give them a little more, even though I haven't seen eggs from them in a while. These guys, I'm hoping will spawn soon, but I'm going away, so maybe I don't want them to spawn. Things you gotta think about. I don't think I got this tank. No, I didn't get this tank. That's why I have so many left over. So let's try to do this one-handed. I'm gonna switch hands. I'm gonna use this hand to hold this up. Ta-da! And then you get the rest. Well, if you ask me, that's pretty cool. Right now, it's the best thing to feed them, except for live food. And my wife won't let me have live worm cultures unless I keep them down here. And then I need a refrigerator down here, which I don't have. So it's an excuse to buy one, right? Just loving life, eating. The runt is eating back there. I love his dorsal fin. And this guy too, but pretty small. These guys were born in January. So they're about 9 months old. They're just about ready for spawning. We have a couple smaller pieces of slate. I took that big piece I had and broken it into smaller pieces. Hopefully we'll get a pair out of here. If I do get a pair, I will move them to this tank. And they'll go with the rest of the breeding angels. And, you know, I do have another 5.5 gallon there, a couple more 10 gallons. I think I have 2 more 5.5 gallon tanks I could set up as to raise fry. What else? We got these things here. This was a homemade filter. This was like 10 cents at the Restore store. I think they buy, or things get donated to them and then they resell them and help, I don't know if they're homeless or whatever, but they help people that need help. Like they give them jobs. The profits go to, you know, helping the homeless. We'll just say the homeless, I think. Anyway, so I used gel crazy glue. Put that there. Put you know, a filter. You know, this was like 10 cents. What is this? Let's just say it's 50 cents worth of PVC. So for less than $1, you have the base. Then you can buy, you know, those big filters, just the sponge part. It's like $4. So for under $5, you know, you have a ginormous sponge filter. The problem I ran into is I used crazy glue, gel crazy glue, and after about a month they came off. So I glued it again, and then they came off. Well, all the ones that I made have come off. I think there's actually one more in a tank somewhere, because I'm pretty sure I made more than 3. I know I have 2 filters, 2 empty filters in the sump, just being seasoned, if you will. No? Oh, yeah, this one. There is a 4th right there. And I have extra filters I bought on Amazon. So I have a bunch extra. Anyway, I'm going to go with the good old GE Silicone 1 and try to glue those like that and see how they work. But in the meantime, what I did, like in this tank that had one, I took that out and I used that sponge filter, the Chinese sponge filter that goes along the, you know, that suction cups to the wall. I say Chinese not to be derogatory if anyone takes it that way, but they're made in China and there's only Chinese writing on it when I bought it. Actually, I think I got that one and another one in the same deal as I got that drilled 55. Drilled 55 with 2 filters, $50. You can't beat that. Look at all these guys. Soon I'll be trying to separate them, give the fry a little bit more room to grow. And once we're healthy, we'll have a lot to sell to the local fish store, but he knows I'm not going to sell him sick fish, and I know I'm not going to sell him sick fish. Alright, so let's go with the Cyclops. These guys get Cyclops. These guys get some because there are juvies in there. Oh, that's a lot. They ate these guys. Green Cobra. And these guys. And we're gonna go with these guys up here. Oh, there's the parents there. I gotta be honest, I thought they'd be dead by now, based on how they look. I gotta get that foil out of there. But they seem to be okay. Actually, Mom over here looks better. Way better. Dad in the back, I think it's Dad, still looks a little skinny. His tail doesn't look so great, but I mean, look at all the fry they've produced. Oh, look at that. Fry and Pleco. Alright. So that's a pretty long, it's actually my longest video. And all it was me rambling. Blah, 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 blah. So, if you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. Check out Cord from Aquarium Co-op's channel if you haven't. Great guy, great advice, great content. Check out Bob from Steamfod Aquatics. He's kicking some butt. I think he's gained like 500 subscribers in a week. Doing the fish thing. Rich from Richard Fishes. Danny from Danny's Aquarium. Flynn's a pretty good guy. Pretty good kid. Alright, I'm rambling. Really, I have nothing else to say. I do have to add water. Let's add water. So, here is how I add water to this tank. I take water from this tank, which has already been seasoned, and I just add it to here. Why? Because it's easy. And there you go. We'll let this fill up, and I gotta feed this tank. Whoa. Let's not do that. So we gotta feed this tank, and we gotta get all the fry out of the bucket. And we gotta put the lid back. My plan last weekend was to clean this tank, get it ready for quarantining some new fish, and I didn't get to that. So I'm not gonna buy new fish until quarantine is done. I mean, until my fish are healthy and this tank is clean. I said that to myself. I thought that would give me incentive to clean this tank. All it is dirt from that planter. All right, guys. I don't think you need to see me do this. I'll be right back. All right, fishy folks. There was actually 6 fry in here, and now there are none. So we're gonna feed. So I don't know if I ever showed this before. Probably did it last video and I don't remember because I'm old. You take this ginormous spoon they give you, take a scoop, and drop it in. And I actually do 3 scoops in the morning because there's a lot of fry and I want them to grow, and I do so many water changes that I don't really care. And as they got older, they started going to the food much more quickly. When they were definitely firstborn, they kind of didn't hunt the food, I guess. But they all look like they're growing nice and getting happy, so that's good. And then we got this guy. We need a name for this guy. Let me know what you think we should name him. Alright, let's feed him. I give him almost a scoop. And, hi Nico. Oh, Nico. Yeah, so he's eating. I don't clean his tank as much because he's 1 fish in a 5.5 gallon, 1 tiny fish in a 5.5 gallon. See, there's a lot of moam on the bottom, but I clean his tank maybe every other day, every 3rd day. You can see he's eating, finding that food. Looks pretty good. Fins look pretty good from here. So we'll see. We'll see how he grows. More than likely, I'm going to keep him because he's a survivor. If you remember, this tank, I had fry in this tank, and it looked like I had 0 I had wigglers, and then, aw, Nico. And then everybody was gone. And I kind of let the tank just go. I didn't do anything to it. And there was the water drain from like here all the way down to here. Maybe it was 2 weeks. No air, no heat, no food. And I had 6 or 7 fry survive. And I immediately put them in a tank with, you know, water obviously. And what did I do? Put a filter, fed them, and I had two survive after about 2 days for a while, for about a week. And then I only found that guy. And he's been surviving and growing and doing well. I wish I could tell you how old he was exactly, but I don't remember. I would say he's a month. Hey! Troublemaker. Troublemaker. Look at him. Look how cute he is. He is a cutie. German Shepherd. White German Shepherd. Nico. He's 9 years old. 9 or 10 years old. Great dog. Great dog. Other than eating fish food. Alright guys. I think a 35-minute video is long enough for me. I do gotta get to work. I do have to get to work. I'd like to leave early and go see some of my my soccer players playing. The local high school that my son goes to is playing. Another school, and I have kids on both teams, and they've invited me to come watch, but I don't know if I can leave work early. Anyway, enough rambling, enough about soccer. I will not have a video this weekend because I will be camping, so oh well. Have a great day, have a great weekend. Let me know what you think I should name this guy. Hit that subscribe button, and have a great day.